Hey, congratulations, you just got a new RV, and now you're getting ready to hit the road, but you're feeling a little overwhelmed by an endless list of add-on items. Well, relax, I gotcha. In this video, I'm going to show you 10 items that we use every single day that are pretty inexpensive, and most importantly, they're the things you'd never think of unless you'd been RVing for years and years. So you ready to get started? Let's do this. All right, let's start at number 10. This is a lithium battery powered tire pump. It's made by Worksite. It's compact, so it fits in our B van just fine. It has a 20 amp hour charge, so it can pump up all 6 tires multiple times. It also has a built-in tire gauge, so I can set the PSI, turn it on, and walk away. When it's done, it turns itself off. The PSI goes from 0 to 150, so it works great for our e-bike tires as well. You know, I always like to check the tire pressure on drive days. So how often do I use it? I'd say 3 or 4 times a week. Cost, 60 bucks. Number 9. This might be the most useful mod we've ever done in the van. It's a flexible curtain rod, which I installed in the ceiling, and it has a heavy theatrical curtain, which adds both privacy and keeps the heat from the front windshield out of the van. I also like that if we ever get the knock in the middle of the night, I can just jump in the driver's seat and drive away. So how often do we use it? Well, every single night. Cost is 39 bucks for the curtain and the rack. I'll leave a link in the descriptions below. Number 8, a tire gauge that works with Duellies. If your rig has Duellies for the rear wheels and you've ever tried using one of these straight tire gauges, you know it's almost impossible to get a good reading. I like this Jaco gauge. It has a flexible hose so I can get in all the way, a digital readout for accuracy, and it has a button on the side, so if you overinflate, you can deflate it a little. As I mentioned before, I regularly check my tire pressures, and you'd be surprised at how much it fluctuates. For a quick spot check of your tires, this gauge is an everyday item. Cost, about 28 bucks. Number 7. I love this one so much, I've put one in all our vehicles. It's a magnetic phone mount made by Soshi. It's got a small footprint, so it fits almost anywhere on the dash, and the little stem here has a bend in it, which makes it easy to adjust so you can see both your phone and the Apple CarPlay screen. Hey, speaking of CarPlay, on our rig, the Mercedes 3500 XD, the CarPlay connection is located under this pop-up panel on the dash. What a pain. So I bought this 3-foot USB-C to lightning cable that's black, and black is the key here. That way the cable won't reflect up into the windshield and block your vision. I know, maybe someday I'll get one of those wireless Bluetooth connections, but until that time, this one works just fine. So how often do I use it? Every time I turn on the van. Cost for the mount and the cable, $20.83. Number 6, diesel gloves. You know, you don't have to have a diesel to buy diesel gloves, but if you do have one, you learn early on, diesel fuel is dirty fuel. I mean, it's like there's chunks of carbon floating in it. And about half the time, the fuel pump is a complete mess too. So in our first year, I got a 6-pack of diesel gloves. And what I found out is, not only are they great for filling your tanks, but they're also good for dumping your sewage or adding depth to your rig or picking up firewood or whatever else. What I like about them is that on the palms, they have this synthetic rubber material, and on the backs, it's this stretchy, breathable material. They're very comfortable to wear, and I can get a great grip with them. So, use every other day. Cost 19 bucks for a 12-pack. Man, you can't beat that price, come on. And hey, if you're getting something from this, please hit the like and subscribe button below. It's a nice way to say thank you. Anyway, back to the video and on to number 5. And this one's a 2-for-1. It's an indoor-outdoor thermometer, plus this 3M industrial strength tape I use to attach the sensor to the back door. For me, knowing the outdoor temperature while we're cooling or heating the rig is super important. We do have built-in thermometers in our rig, but they're flat out wrong most of the time. So that's why I added this ThermPro thermometer. I mounted the outdoor sensor to the back door with this super strong 3M adhesive tape. It's kind of like Velcro, but it's much better, and it allows me to pull the sensor off so I can change the batteries. Plus, it's secure enough to not fall off while driving or closing the door. Overall, I use both of these things every day, and the thermometer is pretty much the first thing I look at in the morning and the last thing at night. Total cost for both, 36 bucks. Number 4, I keep this one right here in the driver's side door. It's a kneeling pad for when we do the dump. On our rig, the black and gray tank poles are really low to the ground, and I found the easiest way to handle this is down on your hands and knees. Now, when you're at the dump and you look at this ground around you here, it may look dry, but I guarantee you it is not clean. This kneeling pad does the trick for keeping a little bit more sanitary. You know what else it's good for? Checking your tire pressure. Anyway, I use the kneeling pad about every other day or so. Cost? 12 bucks. Number 3. Here's one we got even before our first shakedown trip. It's a sink strainer. It's about 4.5 inches in diameter, and it fits perfectly in our kitchen sink. Why do we need a strainer? Well, rotting food in your gray tank is what causes it to smell bad. And even though you think you've completely scraped those dishes, there is usually some food left behind. You'd be surprised how much the strainer catches. And I'm happy to say we've never had a funky smelling gray tank. Was it the strainer? I don't know, maybe. Anyway, how often do we use it? Every time we use the kitchen sink. Cost? 12 bucks. Number 2, a faucet aerator that helps you save on fresh water. Our factory faucet came with an aerator, but I don't think it did much to save on water. I'd seen this one online, and I figured I'd give it a try. And not only does it save on water, but it has this swivel head, which is much more useful. The only tricky part of the install was figuring out how to get the old one off. In fact, it was so hard to see, I didn't even know if it came off. I ended up wrapping the end of the faucet with some gaffer's taping and using a pair of pliers. You could use a pair of soft grip pliers as well, but it will come off. Now, Amazon said that this one saves 30 to 70% on water use. I think that's pretty optimistic. I'd say it's probably closer to 25%. How often do we use it? Every time we turn on the faucet. Cost is 12 bucks. Okay, we're finally to number 1, and this is a battery-powered nightlight. It's what I was holding on the cover shot. You know, when you get to a certain age, you can't make it through the night without going to the bathroom. And you don't want to wake up your partner by turning on the really bright bathroom light. This battery-powered nightlight works perfectly. We mounted it on the side of the bathroom sink, and you just touch the top of it, and it turns on. It also works great as an alternate light in the daytime. So, how often do we use it? Well, between the two of us, at night and in the daytime, several times a day. The cost? Just $11. You know, if you bought all 10 of these items, your total would be just $273. Now, compare that to the cost of $100,000 or a $200,000 rig, and it's a drop in the bucket. So I just go out and get them all. Links for everything are in the descriptions below. And by the way, I don't make any money on this. When I find something good, I just want to share it with others in hopes that your RVing or boating is even more fun. Anyway, thanks for watching, safe travels to you, and I hope to see you out there on the road.